I just made almost $600 from trading USDJPY. The concept of pressing buttons and making money on my phone is still insane to me. Like it's still just, it will always be crazy to me, honestly. Basically, I caught this trade on USDJPY. I did end up closing this position early, right? I ended up closing around a 1 to 3. Usually I like to target a 1 to 4 or more, which I was targeting, right? However, I can only take what the market gives me. But originally my first TP was a 1 to 5 RR and my second TP was a 1 to 7 RR. So the first TP would have been 1,000. Second TP would have been 1,400, but we ended up closing around 600. And I'm gonna explain why I closed early, my entry, my thought process, all that. But yeah, the strategy is super simple. All I trade is break and retest. I feel like it's the simplest strategy anybody can learn, especially for beginners, right? And pairing that with a high risk reward ratio is gonna set you up for success. So I just want to show you like how I did it, and you know the reason I took it, the trade, all that. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it. Let's get into the trade. Okay, what's up YouTube? We are in the office, we are in the lab, we are where the magic happens. I am about to break down this USDJPY trade. I was in this trade for 3 days. And yeah, I'm just gonna explain like why I got in and yeah, all that. Let's get into it. All right, so here is the trade, the USDJPY trade. So daily liquidity was my first target, and then this 27 extension was my second target. We ended up closing right here for reasons I'm about to explain in a minute. So let's go ahead and break this down. I want to start, we're kind of jumping back to where I first saw price initially before the drop. So let's go back to right here. First things first, we need to identify where the trend is going, right? We have to look at the daily time frame. The daily time frame lets us know where we need to trade, right? You can see that right here on the daily, we had this huge bearish drop to the downside. So we broke all of the structure, right? As you can see. So before price on the daily, we were making higher highs, higher low, higher high, right? We came down, we failed to break this low. I'm sorry, we failed to break this high. And then what happened? We crashed. I mean, we had a major crash, right? This crash is what made our daily bearish, okay? That's important. So we know that our daily is bearish. So we know long-term, our direction needs to be bearish. Okay, cool. Right here, as you can see, the daily began to have this pullback, right? When the dailies have this pullback, you need to scale in into a lower time frame to really get more information, right? So I like the 4 hour. The 4 hour is where I like to watch pullbacks on the daily. So right here, I jump to a 4 hour. And as you can see, the 4 hour, we go from making like this big crash to making higher highs, failing to break this low, right? So it's a higher low, we break up, make a new higher high, higher low, right, higher high. So we are basically on this potential, well, no, we're basically on a uptrend right now, right? We are moving up on the 4 hour. So I need y'all to understand this concept real quick. This is the very most important part. There is something called time frame correlation. If my daily is bearish, right, and we're having a correction or a pullback or retracement, whatever you like to call it, right, our 4 hour is going to look like an uptrend, right? And as you can see, like right here, I rewound it, like, yeah, we had the characteristics of uptrend. What does the uptrend do? Well, uptrend, it makes higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. What's happening on the 4 hour, right? 4 hour, we're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. My 4 hour is making higher highs, higher lows. However, my daily is bearish. My daily just had this huge drop. Not only is my daily bearish, right, but my weekly is also bearish. We look on the weekly, we were also at one point making higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we broke and we dropped and we broke structure. There was structure right here that got broken, as you can see. So not only is my daily bearish, but my weekly time frame is also bearish, right? If my higher time frames are both saying bearish, weekly and daily, right, and I know my higher time frames hold more weight, right, they're more significant. If I see that my 4 hour is temporarily going in an uptrend, I know that this is temporary. I know at some point the 4 hour has to switch back to making lower highs to match the overall higher time frame. So literally, that is all I waited for. First, I marked up the area of the last place price was when we broke structure. So right here, as you can see, if you look on the 4 hour, this was the last place price broke structure. As you can see, we broke structure right here. So I marked it up. So this right here is my 4 hour area of interest, and I'm just waiting for price to come back to that area, right? Price, we're on this pullback. We finally make it to our 4 hour area of interest, right? At this point, I need price to shift structure. I need price to show me that it wants to go down on the 4 hour. How do I know that? Well, y'all, I just said overall we're making lower lows. What are the characteristics of a lower low? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? So if I need to wait for my correction to be over, I just need to wait for what? My 4 hours to start doing what? Making a lower low, lower high, lower low, right? I need to wait for price to show me that it wants to go bearish. I need price to break structure on the 4 hour, right? Right here, I marked off, here's my last 4 hour support, right? So here's my 4 hour, we made a higher high, right? We came down, and it looks like we're trying to get up here. Let's see what price does here. Let's see. So right here, so price did like a nice like liquidity sweep and we came down. But notice this is what we're looking at. We're looking to see if price is gonna break this support. So let's watch and see what it does, right? So we finally break this support, but mind you, you cannot get in on just the break of structure, right? Why? Right here, price, we're on this uptrend, right? Price can come up and it can break structure, right? However, this could be a liquidity sweep. You don't know for sure if price is going this direction yet until you have a sign that price doesn't want to go any higher. How do you know if price doesn't want to go any higher? A lower high, right? The moment price comes up, fails to make a new high, makes a lower, and it makes a lower low, right? Creates that lower high. That lets you know that price does not want to go any higher. You have to wait for that. The reason why is because if you don't, this could have easily been a liquidity sweep. Price could have easily came up, right? It could have came down and faked you out thinking you were going to go low, right? And it came right back up. And that's completely valid, right? Price does liquidity sweeps all the time. It's completely valid because we are still making a higher high, which is still valid on an uptrend, right? So you don't want to get faked out. You don't want to be in this mess. You want to wait for the retest. I can't just get in right here. I need to wait for the retest, right? So around this point, I went ahead and scaled in on the 1 hour just to see it just a little bit more clearly, right? So I jump on the 1 hour and you start seeing some interesting things, right? Right here, we're pushing down, right? I see we still have this 4 hour support level. I want to see price basically come back and retest this level, show me it doesn't want to go any higher, right? It cannot break this swing high, and then push down. And that is where I want to get in, and that's exactly what I did, right? So I waited for price to give me the retest on the 1 hour, right? We got our retest. Where is it? Okay, so right here, price kind of came up for the retest. It showed me it didn't want to go any higher, right? And then I saw price started breaking below, right? We're breaking structure. At this point, this is where I eventually got in for sales. And yeah, y'all, that was pretty much it. The rest was pretty much history, as you can see. Like, once we got in this entry price, it followed the trend. The daily is bearish. So what did price do? It went bearish. The 4 hour is going to match what the higher time frame is doing, as you can see. And we had a beautiful, I mean, this was a beautiful drop. Like, really, just such a beautiful drop. Like, oh my gosh, I love this trade. As far as targets, right, I target a couple things. I'm gonna delete this, right? I use Fibonacci as my target. So right here, on the daily time frame, what I did, I drew a Fibonacci tracing level from the swing high, the most extreme point, to this swing low. In this case, I just used the take profit levels, not really the retracement levels. So here are my Fib targets, right? And as you can see right here, my first target is liquidity. My 0 level is going to sit with liquidity. So I have liquidity sitting right here. This is daily level liquidity. That was my first TP, right? My first target. It lined up pretty nicely with this psychological level as well. This is psychological level 152,500. My second TP was this 27 extension right here, which also lined up really nicely with this psychological level as well. Why do I aim for the 27 extension? Well, I just said, like, if you're in the downtrend, right, what do? You make lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, right? When you're coming down, you don't just stop at liquidity, right? You make a lower low, right? You come lower. So this 27 extension is just a target of, like, basically where price can go after grabbing liquidity, right? So that is what the 27 extension is for. Now, at some point, I was watching price on the 1 hour, right? Price got to a point where we were kind of like in this consolidation state, right? I actually put a in profit stop loss right underneath my 1 hour low right here, and price ended up eventually, you know, tapping me out of my in profit stop loss. So I was trailing my stop loss in the 1 hour, and eventually it did come up and take me out. So that's why I got the trade early, because I was trailing structure. Because if you're in an uptrend, price should not break above. Price should continue to give you, you know, lower lows, lower highs. So the moment price looks to break above structure, it is invalidating the downtrend, right? Downtrends are only supposed to make lower lows and lower highs. So I don't want to be a part of any of that, because once you break that high, you now have a potential to do what? Start shifting into a uptrend, and that is the opposite of where I'm going. So yeah, once I get that break, take me out of the trade, right? So that's what happened here. Trailing the 1 hour, we got taken out right here. But yeah, as you can see, price is kind of just consolidating on this level. It might be building up some pressure to head back to the upside, so that is why I got out the trade. Yeah, but overall, still a really good trade. We call it about a 1-to-3 risk reward ratio. I prefer cashing a 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. However, you know, I can only take what the market gives me, right? But I do like to target bigger targets. In fact, I think I said this earlier, but like this target, my first target was about a 1-to-5. So if I bring it here, a little short 1-to-5, like a 4.5 RR, okay. And then my second TP was about a 1-to-7. Yeah, about a 1-to-7. So I always aim for these high targets, y'all, because I believe that having a high risk reward ratio will keep you profitable, right? Having at least a 1-to-4 will keep you in the game. You could literally have one of the worst winning percentages ever, right? But if you're always targeting a high risk reward ratio, you will always be profitable. It doesn't matter. That's why this is so beginner friendly, because you can make mistakes, right? It's okay to make mistakes and you're not gonna be punished for it. And the crazy thing is, I was coming back from a losing streak, so I actually ended up losing 2 trades last week. And this trade, even though I didn't hit full TP, it still made back everything I lost and then some, right? So that is why risk reward ratio is so important. And risk management in general is just so important, right? I have a video on risk management if you want to learn like what I follow and what I target and all that. I highly recommend you check it out. One thing I do want to say though, I realize I am not taking my swing trading to my fullest potential. Let me explain why. I actually had a mind-blowing realization like after I closed this trade. Check out the 1 hour real quick. Remember how I said that every time you make lower lows, lower highs, right? It should not break that high, right? That also gives me a potential to add a second position, right? And I didn't take advantage of that, but I want to point this out. You could have added a second position right here. Notice how price came back to retest this broken structure. We broke below, we came back to retest, and we started pushing below. That's another entry right there, right? If you know that price is not coming back above this high because you're in a downtrend, you can put your stop loss above this area, and you could have held 2 positions, right? You could have doubled your positions, right? You can compound your positions. You can keep adding and stacking positions. As long as the price is trending that way, you can keep adding on. And that's why swing trading, to me, is the best, right? I feel like you have the best advantage. Not only are you catching high risk reward ratios, but you can also compound and stack your entries and just make so much more and risk so little. You don't have to risk a lot to make a lot when it comes to swing trading. And that's why I love it. And that's why I feel like it's so beginner friendly. I'm actually about to take a withdrawal real quick because we're pretty much at the end of the week. It's Thursday night and I want to, you know, enjoy some profits. Even though I didn't make the big amount that I wanted to, I still tell myself that you need to pay yourself every week regardless of what you make. I like to withdraw about 25% of my winnings like each week because I like to reinvest 75% back into my account for account growth. I prioritize account growth as of right now. So I am about to basically make a withdrawal and just show y'all the process about making the withdrawal with my broker, all that. And yeah, so let's get it. Okay, so currently I am logged into my broker. I am on my accounts page on the live tab. As you can see, I don't expose my account numbers, right? But I am on the live tab. But yeah, as you can see, this account says live, as you can see, right? And I am gonna do a Bitcoin withdrawal. You can withdraw whatever you want. I like using Bitcoin, right? I'm gonna select my trading account number. So next I'm gonna put the amount that I'm looking to withdraw. I'm gonna withdraw 25% of what I made this week, but I just rounded up to 150 because why not? Right, I'm gonna go ahead and enter my wallet address as well for Bitcoin, so I'm gonna do that off camera. Okay, so I went ahead and enter my Bitcoin address for me, so I'm about to go ahead and just click on proceed. Am I sure I want to withdraw? Yes, I do. Boom, they just sent me a withdrawal request email. I'm about to accept that request real quick. So basically, they want to make sure that you actually want to do the request. So open the email and go trade. We received your withdrawal request for 150. We are gonna confirm the withdrawal. It's gonna take us back, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign back in real quick and I'll do it real quick. Right here, we got the email saying it was successful. So yeah, it is super simple. Usually when I submit my request like at night, I get it like the next day. You see what I'm saying? So it's very fast, very quick. I'll let y'all know when I get it. I'll post it somewhere else. Okay, quick interruption. This is editing autumn. See? Like I'm literally editing this video right now to get it out tomorrow. I took a nap, woke up to edit my video, and I just got an email from Hanko right with my request. As you can see, it's currently Friday, 4 in the morning. And as you can see, Hanko just approved my request for $150 and they just delivered it to my Cash App. I like to, you know, do my Bitcoin through Cash App. Coinbase is probably better, but I do it through Cash App, right? It only took like 7 hours for that request to go through. So that really just goes to show like how fast these requests go through. And yeah, I just wanted to be transparent and show y'all that I did get the withdrawal, right? So, okay, back to the video. Super quick process. I don't have to wait multiple days. Like, Hanko Trade is very fast when it comes to withdrawals, and that's why I love them. Some brokers will take a really long time to, like, you know, give you your money. Hanko, they're very quick with it, right? Very efficient, not like that. So if you're interested in like a broker that's like quick with like giving your withdrawals, like I would definitely check them out. I have them linked in my bio if you want to check them out. They're really cool. Yeah, just wanted to show some transparency that I am taking withdrawals, right? But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. If you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comments. If you enjoy my video, if you enjoy my strategy, definitely consider subscribing. I post videos all the time. I don't have a course. I'm not a trading guru. I'm none of that. I'm just showing my swing trading journey in hopes of inspiring somebody to follow suit, because you know it's a great way to become financially free, and I want to show and prove that you can become financially free from swing trading in the market. So yeah, that's it, y'all. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, bye.